day 686 being Christopher Cruz. So I just did a coaching call with this guy from church who he's just amazing. He's one of the older guys at the church, and he has given me so much guidance and spiritual wisdom and prayer. And yeah, especially when I was going through that time where I couldn't pay my rent and it was just like horrible. Like, he was there, and he's just such an amazing leader in the church. And like, yeah, I just have so much love for him. He's the one who FaceTimed me last Sunday when I was driving to church. He was up at the front worshiping, FaceTime me, showed me the whole audience. Like, he's so great. And he just got like certified to be a life coach, and you know, I could tell he needed some guidance and some direction. And so I told him I'd help him. And so we got on this call, and right before the call, I just prayed. I said, God, just allow this call to bring both of us closer to you. And we get on the call, and like, I tell him about my 10-day break that I just had, and I took a page of notes from what he said. And then he just started, he's like, Chris, I know this call is for me, but like, God gave me a word for you. And he said, the big bang you were looking for was in the rest. And I was like, the big bang, he doesn't know this, but I've been like watching stuff on evolution and creation theory and all these different things, and the big bang, and like how it's like probably not actually how everything got created, and science proves that. And I was like, what are the odds? So I'm like, okay, I know God's speaking through him. And he said, you know, you were looking for this big bang, this grand finale. And he said the grand finale was obedience. Like, God was seeing if you'd be obedient to his word, because he told you to rest for 10 days. And he was seeing if he can trust you, you know, when he guides you, when he calls you to do something, he needs to know that you're going to be obedient, that he can trust you, because if he can trust you with that, he can trust you with more. And are you willing to be obedient? And like, can God trust you when he says go, that you're going to go? And so he's like, what you really have to understand is that the whole point of this was obedience, and for you to learn obedience, and for him to see how obedient that you will be to his word. And I was just like, wow. And you know, I talked to him about, like, you know, I got all these clients, and there's still some clients that are paying monthly because they didn't pay the full amount, but like my bank account is going down pretty quickly. I paid off like a lot of bills and stuff like that. And I said, like, you know, I was starting to feel a little bit of fear of like running out, but then I'm just like, no, God's got this, it's all good. Like, and he said something. He said, listen, Chris, you can run out of money, but God can't. That's what you have to understand. I was just like, wow. Yeah, what am I worried about? But that was so amazing, the things that he said. And yeah, my big breakthrough, like, learning to be obedient to God, like, that was huge. Like, the big breakthrough that I got at the end was realizing that I believe in God fully. And so that's massive. And then he just kind of sealed it up. He finalized it. He put the finishing touch on it. You know, he put the cherry on top, which was, Chris, this was a test of your obedience. And because I was telling him, the hardest thing for me to do is pause, because I have to let go of control, and I want to be building things and creating things and controlling things and getting clients and making money and doing this and changing people's lives and building a brand and leading a revolution and all these things. And so he was like, this is a test of your obedience. And you showed him that you were obedient, and that you will be obedient, and that you were willing to take those 10 days and cancel your coaching calls and do nothing, and except like follow whatever he guided you to do. And so that was amazing. That was just so awesome. That was incredible. And he did all that in 15 minutes. And while he was doing that, I was like, listen, I know he just got his life coaching certificate and his executive coaching certificate, but this guy's meant to lead people back to God. Like, come on. Like, it just oozes out of him. Like, he's like reciting Bible scripture after Bible scripture. He's picking up the Bible, finding stuff. I'm like, how do you find this stuff? So how do you have so much of it inside? And God speaks through him. And so then I was like, okay, let's get into your coaching. And then I was just like straight with him. I'm like, listen, you could do the executive coaching, you could do this coaching and that coaching, but like, you're meant to lead people back to God. So let's figure out who you're meant to lead back to God. And then he came up with like the different target audiences he wants to help, which he had entertainers, he had leaders, he had corporate executives, and then entrepreneurs. I was like, okay, so explain to me what are those people like? And he's like, well, God is a creator, and he created us to be creators. And I looked at those four and I was like, okay, out of all these, which one is the ultimate creator? And he's like, the entrepreneur. So we got clear on the entrepreneur. And then I knew it was kingdom entrepreneurs, like entrepreneurs who are believers, but I was trying to allow him to realize that. So he's speaking it and doing that. And then we get to the point where it's like, oh yeah, you help kingdom entrepreneurs. And he's like, and I'm like, so what do? Do you help them grow their business, or do you help them have a better experience of being an entrepreneur? And he's like, I help them get a better experience. And this is like a 2-hour call. I'm just summarizing it. But, and then I was like, okay, so what do you do? Is it like you help them go from them being the CEO to letting God be the CEO? Is it that you have them build a worldly business or they're building a worldly business, but you help them build a godly business? Or is it you take their business from being a prison to being a palace? And he loved all three of those. But the one that really hit him and resonated with him was taking your business from a prison to a palace. And he's like, in a palace, you take things to the court, and then the king, rules over things and does this and takes care of it. Versus in a prison, you're sitting in a cell by yourself trying to figure it all out on your own. And he just started going with that analogy, and he got so pumped up and so excited. And I was like, so you help kingdom entrepreneurs transform their business from a prison to a palace by bringing God into the equation. And so I took a bunch of notes. He took a bunch of notes. So I told him, go take 2 or 3 hours today or tomorrow, sit by yourself somewhere calming, relaxing, turn off your phone, and watch the recording of this call, and just let God just inspire you. And when you're done with that, we'll do another call, and we will structure your coaching packages. And he was so excited. It was just amazing to see him so excited, because he's such a blessing to people. And to know that I had a part in helping him with that is amazing. That was God, though. That wasn't me. I know that wasn't me. God just used me. But he deserves it. He gives so much. And so I have some things to coach him on that I know God gave me, that I'm going to say that are going to be pretty challenging, but I know I need to say them, and I know he'll take it well. But it's interesting because God, he's just giving me insight to what's holding people back. I'll be having a conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden, poof, it drops. I'm like, oh, that's what they need to know. And then I say it to them, and they're like, oh my God, wow. And it's like this eye-opening, mind-blowing experience. And so God keeps giving me those revelations for people. Revelations for people. When I was writing something that God gave me, he said, I didn't call you to lead a revolution. I called you to lead a revelation. And a revelation is the realization of divine truth, a communication of divine truth. So what I'm doing is I'm speaking divine truth to these people, and it's hitting their souls. So yeah, anyway, that was awesome. Such a good way to start the day and to start my coaching calls today. So I think I have 2 more. And yeah, that's it.